Hello friends, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink, back to my Halloween card series for 2020. I made a whole bunch of cards. I did a whole bunch of foiling using my Spellbinders Glimmer hot foil system, as well as some Spellbinders wafer dies. So to start off with, I did a lot of foiling. I just had fun with it. I ended up filming this over multiple days, multiple times. That's why the lighting changes a lot throughout this video, because I was just kind of fitting it in amongst everything and I couldn't stop myself. So I just did a ton. So first I'm using the Spellbinders Spooky Greetings Glimmer hot foil plates. And I started with the 3 little characters in the set. And I'm just using silver hot foil, like Glimmer hot foil first. And then off camera I end up using like a bunch of different colors. I'll link to everything. And then with Glimmer hot foil, I have the Glimmer hot foil system, and I use this with my Spellbinders platinum die cut machine. You don't use any plates, like die cutting plates. The Glimmer hot foil system comes with its own. It has this base plate that heats up, and then it has the shim and the plastic plate. So I have my little images face up, and then I put the foil that I'd cut pretty side face down, like towards the little image. And then I have my cardstock, and then on the bottom I had pressed the button which flashes till it's ready to go. Once it's solid color, that bottom little light there, it's ready to be run through with the Glimmer hot foil shim and clear plate, and I add 1 piece of cardstock just as an extra little shim, and then I run that through my platinum die cut machine, and that presses those hot foil plates into the foil and then into the cardstock. So super fun. I did a whole bunch, and I'll show the stack I ended up doing. I just kept doing it like over and over again with just tons of pieces, like just scraps of cardstock, little scraps of foil, because I'll show later where I cut out parts of the foil. So I just kept like reusing them till I ended up with a literal just pile. So then after I did the main images, I'm doing all of the sentiments from this spooky greeting set, and I lined them up straight. This first time I ended up shifting and messing it up. But again, I'm just going to do this over and over again regardless till I have a pile. Same thing. Have all those hot foil sentiments face up. The shiny, pretty side of the foil face down towards the plates. My cardstock. Let everything heat up. Run that whole system through my die cut machine. Peel off the foil. This is the one where I messed it up. The one ended up going crooked. But I straightened it out and then just kept redoing it. So you can see I get all these fabulous foiled sentiments as well. So I end up with a stack of sentiments and a stack of images, all these scraps of cardstock, all the different colors of foil. So I had all of these, but I'm not going to stop. I'm going to do a whole bunch more because I was having so much fun. Plus I have more Halloween stuff. So once I did this first pile of sentiments and images, I set those aside, and then now I'm using the Spiderweb background Glimmer hot foil, which love. I was so excited about this. This little foil cut, this is just a We Are Memory Keepers foil cutting thing. I don't know. I've been fiddling with it. I'm kind of like on the fence about the whole thing. I also really like to use, and I'll link to it, my Tonic big Tim Holtz shears, like the 8.5-inch scissors. Those cut through foil, and because they're so nice and long, it's not as fiddly. But anywho, with this Spiderweb plate, because of the way it's shaped, I was cutting out this kind of lower center portion because I didn't want to bother wasting that foil. Plus, I didn't want to risk getting all that like in any way like compressed into the cardstock. So off camera, again, I ended up cutting this like multiple times. I used like 1 piece as kind of a guide and then just cut a bunch, and I'll show all the backgrounds I ended up making with this Spiderweb Glimmer hot foil. But again, the Spiderweb face up on the plate, the shiny side or pretty side of the foil face down, cardstock, press the button to time it to heat it up to the right amount, put the 2 shims on there, ran that through my die cut machine. And then the best part, this is like heat embossing, you know, when things are just working. I was so excited. So again, I did this a bunch of times. Like I end up with a pile. So I did a whole bunch of backgrounds. I even did a couple in a slimline size, just cause, why not? And I did both sides. And I also did both sides on a few others, but I'll show those in a bit. And another thing I love with when I'm using hot foil is I just have a white eraser. And I also have an electric eraser, and I'll link to that. For some reason, I didn't film showing that. But I have a little electric eraser that I really, really love that helps remove any little excess spots where the foil sticks where I don't want it to. And the combination of the electric eraser and just my regular white eraser that you can get anywhere, perfect combination. So I have a background that I use a spiderweb on, and now I'm creating basically a handle for this trick or treat sentiment that comes with the spiderweb background, because I want this sentiment to go in the middle. And when you're working with these, if you're aware, it's a little difficult sometimes to line things up because you can't see, where things are. So I create a little handle with just 2 pieces of purple tape. I've done washi tape as well. I added that white piece of copy paper there. It's a little overkill, but I didn't want to risk that tape getting pressed into the cardstock too much when I run it through my die cut machine. Because sometimes, not always, but sometimes it leaves like sticky residue no matter what. So I didn't want that. So I just used some white copy paper to cover that. I have my little handle, so this way I can fold the cardstock over, and that trick or treat hot foil plate is exactly where I'd originally positioned it. So I did the same thing, heated that up, put the foil nice side down, folded over the cardstock, ran that through my die cut machine, and then it foiled exactly where I wanted it to. And off camera, again, I ran the trick or treat through. I did 2 backgrounds with a spiderweb, and then I just did several pieces, just again on scraps of cardstock, which I'll show when I start assembling the cards. So this one, again, it turned out perfect. I was so happy with that. Love it. Love the mix and match using different colors. And now you guys can see how many backgrounds I did. I spent days on this video because I made so many cards, and I was just having so much fun. So I have all these backgrounds, all these pieces. Now it's time to start making cards out of them. So for my first 2 cards, these are the most simple. They're just that spiderweb hot foil background and the trick or treat sentiment that comes with it, just done in different colors. And then sentiments that I'd done in the beginning there from the Spooky Greetings set that I did on various cardstocks with various colors of foil. And I just mixed and matched. I kind of, off camera, before I really started assembling everything, I kind of piled everything up together for each card. And that's how I was able to piece out all these pieces I had of hot foil. I have die cuts, everything. And then I stuck to kind of the same color combo with all these, which made things easier. I was using orange, purple, black, gray, green, 2 shades of gray. I did a light gray and a dark gray, and then that kind of neon green sort of color, and then a bit of white. All my card bases are white. That just kind of kept things simpler as well. And these 2 are A2 card bases. So I just assembled all the layers and then added those 2 or the couple little sentiments. And then on the insides of these cards, I just added a couple more of those hot foiled sentiments. So creep it real, have a boolicious day. I love my punny sentiments. And then you could leave it here, but I'm going to add some bling and a few little die cuts because why not? So of course, and it's also because I have a ton of bling, literally tons. So I have some Studio Caudia. I have Studio Caudia Royal Purple Crystals. I have little things from Lucy's Cards, Lime Mix Jewels, and some Studio Caudia Ripe Persimmon Pearls, because the colors just went really well with all these cardstocks. And then I have some little die cut bats and some little die cut skulls, which I will get to that die set a little later on in the video. So I sprinkled these throughout both of these cards and then adhered them all into place with just dabs of craft tacky glue. And I just used my little Studio Caudia embellishment wand to pick up the crystals and the pearls and the little die cuts and that. And then just put down a dab of glue, glued everything into place. And that finished off the first 2 cards. So after I did those, I'm going to step it up a little bit and do cards with all those little images that I had foiled. So I have backgrounds with the spiderweb, and this one you can see I'd cut out the trick or treat from the center of the purple cardstock, and then I just use that purple cardstock to matte this gray background. And then for all those die cut pieces, I use the Spellbinders nested clipped squares wafer dies. So I just die cut all those pieces, and I also just die cut scraps with the nested clip squares just to kind of add you know, when I wanted to add another color here and there, just kind of fill out the design. So same thing. I went through all these pieces, die cut them all, and then like pieced everything out and was able to do 4 cards with all of these pieces that I had hot foiled and then die cut. And same thing, I'm going to adhere them all just with craft tacky glue. I just kind of do random little layouts. And then once these are adhered, I'm going to add sentiments from that Spooky Greetings Glimmer hot foil set as well. So I've got all my little images and the cardstock and the foil background, and these are really fun to make. So adhered everything into place. Again, another white A2 card base for this one. And then I did a second one, which I will show a little bit, but I didn't bother like filming every single card because a couple of them are similar. And then on the inside of this one, I'm going to adhere the big trick or treat sentiment, and then one more little creep it real. So once that's adhered, of course, I'm going to add some more bling, a few more little die cuts, because I die cut a pile of these little skulls and little die cut bats just to add to all of these cards, because like, why would you not? Like, they're just too cute not to. So sprinkled those throughout the cards as well, adhered and placed little dabs of craft tacky glue, and then I will add some more bling to all of these. That's just, and I stuck with the same bling as well. Same color combo, same bling, just mixing up, you know, the die cuts and whatnot. So the Lime Mix crystals from Little Things by Lucy's Cards, the Royal Purple crystals from Studio Katia, and then the Ripe Persimmon pearls, which perfectly match this burnt orange. This is Simon's burnt orange cardstock that I used, and it's just like a match made in heaven. Same with the Royal Purple crystals and it's Simon's Royal Purple cardstock. So got all those adhered. I did a second card very similar to this one. And then I'm going to do 2 Slimline cards. So I'd run the cardstock through with that Spiderweb background Glimmer hot foil die. And then I trimmed it down a little bit and then matted it to a contrasting piece of cardstock. And then have all my little characters and extra pieces that I die cut with the nested clip squares wafer dies. And then same thing, had, you know, scraps die cut with some of the smaller clip squares just to kind of fill in the image. And then I just go along and start adhering. I just kind of lay everything out first, make sure it kind of fits. Didn't want to completely cover those spider webs in the background, especially the purple on the gray. Love. Again, had so much fun doing this. So adhered all of these little just bits and pieces, you know, making sure that the spider webs aren't covered and that everything just kind of fits. And then just kind of kept fiddling here. And I didn't want everything on a straight line either, just making it a little more fun. So once I was happy with all of that, again, I'm going to add a sentiment from that Spooky Greetings Glimmer hot foil set. I'm so glad. I thought I'd like completely overdone it when I had done so many sentiments. I was like, I'm gonna have a pile left over. I ended up using like every single one on these cards. Like, yeah. So adhered, have a delicious day to this one. And then on the inside of these cards, I'm going to use that big trick or treat sentiment because I had done extras, as well as more of the Spooky Greetings. So add a few of my crystals, some of the pearls, these little die cut skulls, the little bats. And then another white card base with the Slimline cards. They're 8.5 inches by 3.5 inches Slimline cards. So adhered the card front to the card base, and then on the inside I add that trick or treat sentiment. That's another favorite, the silver foil on purple cardstock. They're all favorites. I love it all. These were just fun. So I made 2 Slimline cards and 2 A2 cards with all of those little characters that I had foiled and the sentiments. And then last but certainly not least, this die set, so first off, I have 3 backgrounds that I created with that Spooky Greeting, or not Spooky Greetings, the Spiderweb background. And these ones I had done in 2 colors. So this one I did silver foil and I did this, is it CITRINE or CITRINE? I forget. I'll have a link to it. That one is more of almost like a matte finish. So I did that on the top and bottom of this piece of gray cardstock. And the other one I did like the black and then the green, and then the purple piece I did the silver and the green as well. And just cause I added splatter to these ones. I have the crackling campfire Distress Paint from Ranger. That's the new color, the Crackling Campfire. I got the entire set, and I love using Distress Paint for splatter. If you were not aware, Distress Paint is permanent when dry. So after you've used it, whether you're painting things or doing splatter like this, whatever, wash out your brush immediately. Wash off whatever you've used it with, like if you've put it on anything, because once it's dry, it is permanent. So I splattered these backgrounds with that Crackling Campfire orange paint. And then the dyes I'm using is the big one on the left is the Sunday Drive wafer die set. This came out a while ago. And then the die set on the right is the Halloween Sunday Drive, like add-on, that came out more recently. Super cute. I was so excited to finally get my hands on this. Spellbinders sent these to me. I've been trying to get the Sunday Drive die set for the longest time, and it keeps selling out every time I went to place an order. So they were able to send it to me, and they sent me the Halloween add-on, which would have sealed the deal. Like, I would have gone to any length to get these die sets because these are just adorable. There are other add-ons too. There's a Christmas add-on, there's and a wedding one, which I ordered. Yeah, I ordered the wedding one, and I had the Spellbinders sent me the Christmas one. Stay tuned. I'll have videos coming later with that. So the Sunday Drive set has the car base and all the accessories. And then the Halloween add-on has this little skeleton character with his little bowler hat. So I die cut the skeleton from white cardstock and the bowler hat from black, the little band in green. With little die sets like this with little pieces, my reverse tweezers are so invaluable. It just makes my life easier. I'll link to those tweezers. They're just, I've raved about these tweezers for years and years and years. I have extra pairs because they do like to grow legs and walk away. So I have extra ones because can't live without these tweezers. But anywho, the Halloween Sunday Drive add-on. It has the skeleton, and then there's the pieces for the witch and her broom. And then the little ephemera, the bats and the skulls and whatnot that I used on all the other cards. So, and then it has 2 different sentiments that you can add to, like, this would be the trunk. And the cool thing with this original wafer die is it's kind of hard to show on camera because I didn't use it this way, but that part can open. So you can have things like peeking out of the trunk. Like, I thought of like die cutting extra skeletons and having them hang out the back. You can do anything. So anyway, there's the Be Spooky sentiment you can add to it, as well as Hey Boo. And I use that on a couple other ones that I'll show at the end. So to assemble the car, I added my sentiment. I added the bumper and the brake lights, which I die cut from some silver foil cardstock. And then the tires from black cardstock. And then the centers of the brake lights, I just used the same orange cardstock, like stuck to the same color combo with everything. And then there's a little piece to adhere that would kind of be, I think this would be considered the top of the convertible, you know, folded down. And then like the seat portion. So adhered all that together. And then before finishing the car, I want to add my little characters. So I've got all these little pieces adhered. So now I'm just going to adhere my little driver, which is going to be the skeleton. And then the steering wheel, which you can't really see here, but when it's on the card, you can actually see because you can see it through the bones of the skeleton. So adhere that. And then I'm going to adhere the witch beside him. So just little dabs of glue there. And then I'll adhere her little broom sticking out as well. And I decided with this one, once I get the broom kind of adhered into place, I just flip this over and just add a piece of washi tape just to hold everything together. Just makes my life a little bit easier. And then we've got the windshield. So adhere that right in front. And then there are 2 little rear view mirror wafer dies, which I die cut from the same silver foil as the bumper and the brake lights. And there's little like a funny little curved piece that comes out from them. And that's where you add the glue and you just stick those into place. And that basically assembles this car with the little characters. And then as a little bit of embellishment, in the Halloween Sunday Drive set, there's this like greenery wafer die. So I die cut that with the green cardstock and then added that to the back of the car, and then added one of those little die cut skulls because it comes in that set as well. So added that to the center. And now I've got this cute little card. Seriously, this was so much fun. And this is definitely one of those things. It's like once you've assembled it once, it just comes together super easy. So this was actually the 3rd time because I had assembled 2 others for the other 2 cards. I just did that off camera. And yeah, really easy to put this thing together once you've like figured out the pieces just that first time. So to make my card, I've got my background that I'd splattered. I framed that with some orange cardstock, and then I'm going to adhere my little Halloween car to this background with just craft tacky glue. So I'm going to get that adhered. I'm going to add another sentiment from that Spooky Greetings Glimmer hot foil set. And I'll adhere that to the background as well. So it just says, you know, be spooky, creep it real. Love it. So adhered that into place. And then, of course, I've got my little die cut bats. I'm going to add those. So I just die cut tons of them because I use them on every single card. So I just, you know, kind of zoned out to like HGTV or something and just die cut a pile of little bats for all these cards. It was fun. So did that. Adhered this to a white top fold A2 note card. And then on the inside of these cards, I just added a couple more of those Spooky Greetings Glimmer hot foil sentiments. And then once these were adhered with these cards, I did not add any more bling. I kind of made up for it with, since I did the background with 2 different colors of foil, the splatter, and then the car. It was what it was. So that finished off all these cards. Altogether, I ended up making 9 Halloween cards with all of these die cuts and foiled pieces and foiled backgrounds. And they were so much fun. I am absolutely loving playing with my Glimmer hot foil system. I've done a few videos using it. I will link to them at the end of the video so you guys can check them out, because I go into just different types of cards and whatnot and using the system. And the more I use it, the more fun I have. Like, I've been slowly collecting like every color of Glimmer hot foil, all that fun stuff. So anyway, as always, I will have links below the video. I'll link to my blog post. I'll have all the pictures in my blog post. I will link to all the supplies I use. That will be listed below in the description box, and it will also be listed as picture links on my blog post. So you can check that out below if you are interested. Stay tuned. I will have a lot more Halloween videos coming. This one took up a big chunk of my time, hence me being just behind as always. But I will have a whole bunch more coming, tons of videos planned, all that fun stuff. So stay tuned. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon in the next video. Bye!